I have a list of people in my head I would someday like to meet. Sadly for me, most of them are no longer with us, and thus will be spared having to entertain me, unless perhaps in the heavenly realms our paths should cross. All the usuals are on my list, but there are some who I hope would be kind enough and generous enough to endure me and my curiosity. One of the not so well knowns I'd like to meet is Hypatia of Alexandria. I'm sure I'd be totally intimidated by her, and I hope I wouldn't squander the moment. I'd also like to meet John Muir. I think my wife is distantly related to him, her Scottish roots mingling with his somewhere along the line. For anyone unfamiliar with John Muir, he spent most of his adult life in the Sierras of California, advocating for preserving things that only the hand of God can create. Muir's heart, soul, and strength were servants to God's creation, and he defended these sites and places from the opportunistic and profit-seeking spirits of his day. I can only imagine this, but it's certainly something I would love to talk with him about, because it seems like the Celtic spirituality of his homeland informed his faith and his life. After visiting Ireland and Scotland, I learned that the Celtic influence allowed the early Christians there to see God's hand and God's spirit in people, places, and events that our modern brains simply filter out as either irrelevant or inconsequential. So I have this collection of excerpts from Muir's journals called Meditations of John Muir. It's edited by Chris Hyland, and sometimes I read these pages as part of my quiet time with God. Listen now to a reading from one of Muir's journals, My First Summer in the Sierra. No Sierra landscape that I have seen holds anything truly dead or dull, or any trace of what manufactories is called rubbish or waste. Everything is perfectly clean and pure and full of divine lessons. This quick, inevitable interest attaching to everything seems marvelous until the hand of God becomes visible. Then it seems reasonable that what interests God may well interest us. When we try to pick out anything by itself, we find it hitched to everything else in the universe. One fancies a heart like our own must be beating in every crystal and cell, and we feel like stopping to speak to the plants and animals as friendly fellow mountaineers. Nature, as a poet, an enthusiastic workingman, becomes more and more visible the farther and higher we go. For the mountains are fountains, beginning places, however related to sources beyond mortal ken. The phrase, "It seems reasonable that what interests God may well interest us," really struck me. And why should this not be so? Maybe we can spend a little bit more time immersing ourselves in and embracing God's creation, not to own, dominate, or manipulate God's treasures for our own profit, but simply let God's creation take us places beyond our mortal understanding, or as Muir would say, our mortal ken. For until our prayer that God's will be done on earth is fulfilled, that is truly the last remnant of Eden.